Hello, everybody. Was my mic unmuted just now? I think it was unmuted. I was busy talking here by myself. I didn't realize that I hadn't muted my mic. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the stream. Masni Sunshine, Frankie Mon, how you doing? Was I unmuted? I think I was unmuted. Frankie Mon, yes. We are going to be exploring Littletown today. It's definitely the plan. We had agreed on this, I think, 2 weeks back, that on the next stream we will be looking at Littletown, exploring it, just going through the different things that were built. And I suppose if there are any questions, we can talk about it. I hope everybody is well today. I hope everybody is good. I think I made a tweet, hey? Yes, I just tweeted about it for those who are interested. Let's see if I can place this slightly better. There we go. I hope I'm coming through nice and clear. Hope you can all hear me. I hope everything is good. Let me actually do this. Here we go. So now at least I can see much better where everything is. Awesome stuff. Can we start with a fully zoomed out view, or maybe some screenshots on the Discord? Would love to see the general layout. Yeah, sure. We will do that. I just want to give it another minute or two just to give anybody else who might be joining a chance to join, and then we shall certainly zoom all the way out and have a look. So unfortunately, there are a couple of assets that have gone bye-bye from the workshop, and I did not have enough time to try and replace them with alternatives. So I kind of left it the way it is. I figured this will give a good indication of how much has changed on the workshop between when I last worked on Littletown and now that we will be exploring it. So that will be a nice thing to see, I think. But yeah, there is quite a few things that have disappeared, but for the most part, I think the bulk of the city is still there. So shouldn't be too shabby. Okay, all right. I hope the stream is coming through nice and clear. I hope the audio is clear. I hope the balance between music and my talking is also good. And my mic is not too loud. Looks like my mic is quite loud. I see my mic is constantly going into the red. So let me just decrease it a little bit. And I think that should be better. Nope, that went into the red again. Decrease that a bit. Oh my gosh, why do I keep going into the red? And I think let me lower the music volume just a tad bit as well. And let me know if everything is clear, if everything is good. If the stream is coming through nicely, that's the most important. I want to make sure the stream is coming through nicely and there's no buffering or any issues, because wow, I have been fighting with this for quite a while now. Frankimon says, I was actually watching Littletown farming areas the other day for inspiration. Can see a depth change in your build style. I hope that build style changes for the positive. I certainly hope my build style has gotten better, because the idea is to keep improving, right? Not to digress, I guess. But yes, everybody, welcome. Here is Littletown. I'm focused here because on the save game, this is where I left it off. So if you ever get the save game and you manage to boot into it after jumping through the 50 million hoops, this is the first thing you are greeted with. And I'm quite proud of this because I think this was like a turning point in the Littletown series / build. So I thought it made an awesome first thing to see as you arrive. So all good and clear, it seems. That is great. That is great. Alrighty, let's get into this. So Littletown is what it looked like when we finished. Look at all the reflections that are happening. This was Littletown as of the end of the series. I think this is the closest full view I can get. There we go. Oh, almost got everything. There we go. Let's see if I can get in a little bit better. Can I get a better shot? Yeah, I think that's a better shot. So here is everything that was built in Littletown over the course of 70 episodes, I believe it ran for. I think it was 70 episodes or so, which is quite a lot actually. Because when I first started Littletown, I was convinced that it was only going to run for 30 episodes at most. That is what I had in my head. After 30 episodes, it will be done, clean, cut. But by 30 episodes, I was barely anywhere. Antitareal, I hope I'm pronouncing that. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, this is every single thing. I think by 30th episode, I had just started there. Episode 30 was the start of, 31 was the start of the airport. So by that point, I think I had only done like a tiny portion, just a tiny little portion. And then I basically headed up there. I had never anticipated that I was going to be able to fill out all of this with the farmland and the whole shebang. Right, and Littletown just completely got entirely out of control. But in the end, it ended up being this awesome build. I mean, people still talk about Littletown till this day, so that is awesome. It just means that it at least made quite an impression on people. So I'm super glad. It did really go completely out of control, but in the end, I think it turned out quite all right. I think this was about 2 years worth of work, or just over 2 years worth of work that I spent on this. Oh, why does this think? I think this must be some kind of a skyboxing that's being reflected in there. Oh, this is actually a much nicer shot. There we go. We also get to see this. Yeah, there we are. So yeah, we've got I think the first episode I ever saw was the waterfall and camping grounds. From then on, I was hooked. Yeah, that is awesome to hear. So this is where the waterfall is. On this spot here, the camping grounds basically span this entire thing. And I mean, whilst we at it, we might as well just go down and take a look, I suppose. Hello, almost home, so I can join you all. Hey Breaker, hello. We can't wait for you to join. We shall see you when you get home. So yeah, this was the camping grounds build. Started down here. When I first started this, I didn't think I was going to stretch it this far out, I must be honest. But as the build basically started taking shape by itself, it just naturally continued. And up until this point, I had never used the cable cars before, so this was a nice learning experience for me. So getting all of these parts in place was so cool. This was the first time I really used the resources brush to kind of paint different textures on the ground to make it look like, you know, places are worn down and so on. But at this point, I was becoming very conscious of the prop limit because I was approaching it already and I was only halfway through the build. So I tried to use this mountain grass asset rather sparingly. But yeah, we got all these camping grounds here. This is such a cool spot. Imagine camping here and just staring down. But then as you go higher up, I love this winding road. I think the winding road was just fantastic. Like it's an awesome trail to just hike all the way up to the top. But of course, the lazy people could always just sit in there and just let me ride my way to the top. And then we had all these lookouts. Hey, Big Bad Wolf, how you doing? Big Bad Wolf? Big Bad Wolf joined me on my... What game was I playing when you joined Big Bad Wolf? I think it was Doom. Reminds me of the walking trails where I live. Oh, super. Whereabouts do you live, Big Bad Wolf, if you don't mind my asking? But I think it came together so nicely. I want to check something. Do I have tree LOD fixed? Because I feel like these tree assets are not the best. Tree LOD fix. Oh, it's set to low. Ultra. Do I get a better? Yeah, there we go. I think that's a little bit better. Probably going to kill my FPS, but you know, we get a better visual. And I love how I managed to get a whole lot of people here. I think this was the first real use case of the people park generators for me. And getting people to come and chill here, working on all of this trail to just get the trail active was super, super fantastic. At least I think, yeah, these are people park generators, yes. I wonder if that means I've got a road invisibly lining here as well. Probably do. I built, by the way, the build for this episode. I remember that the trails episode, the first one was all of this. Oh, sorry, the second one was all of this area. So the waterfall going, I did all in, I think, less than 2 days. It is one of the fastest builds I've ever done. With the waterfall here, I honestly didn't think this waterfall was gonna do anything, but it rapidly became one of my most viewed videos. So I guess something went right there, right? Oh, I'm not even centered in the camera. Let me just shift myself a little bit. Yeah, so excuse me. I've actually got a whole bunch of people park generators down here as well, in hopes that people would have come down here, but nobody really did. I had really hoped I could get more activity with people. It's kind of the reason why I actually ended up building this hotel this side as well, in hopes that I could drive people down towards the beaches all the way here, and it will just be a short trip to these spaces. But unfortunately, I could not, despite all my efforts, get people to actually come and sit and just enjoy this area, which was kind of a bummer. But you know, you win some, you lose some. The waterfall area is gorgeous. Thank you so much, Big Bad Wolf. And these coconut trees, I think, like really add to it. But these coconut trees are now in the base game, so everybody can get to use them. So that's great. Sorry, I had quite a bit of a busy day, so I have not. I'm quite thirsty. So I'm probably going to be drinking a lot of water during the course of this. All right. They are missing out then. Lloyd Christmas 8. Who's missing out on what? Oh, okay. I get you now. Sorry. There's a bit of a delay in my chat, which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, I also think they are missing out. I had really hoped that I could get people here. I think it would have looked so cool. I'd even considered putting a, what's this thing? A ferry stop somewhere around here, but it just looked so awkward. And at the time, there wasn't like just a custom ferry stop that you could put down. Or at least I couldn't find one. So I couldn't even make anything that looked kind of funky that just fitted in. So yeah, despite all my efforts, I wasn't successful. But I still think it's quite a cool trail, just walking around, cutting through there. Just imagine walking up all the way through all of these forests, through these bushes, around the bend, over this water, and then through this trail that basically has been cut through all of this mountain all the way up. I think was just fantastic. And then you get all the way up here, and then you could climb up to these, and then imagine the views you just get from up here, pretty much the entire town. So yeah, I had the vision that this whole area must just be very scenic. Hydration is good. Thank you, Big Bad Wolf. I shall keep myself hydrated. So my vision of getting a nice scenic area, I think turned out quite well. And all of this area is lit up as night as well. So I think at some point you must take a night shot, a night view of everything. And then when I built this area, I think that the week before I built this, Mr. Mason released this tree. Oh, I forget what it's called, but it's such an awesome tree. It was so big. And I remember he made a post on Twitter, something like, "The giants are coming." And I was like, oh, that was such a catchy phrase that I had to use these trees immediately. So I just pictured, I just had this view in my head of this trail that is cutting through these giants of trees, right? And then you have these rock formations that are sitting together, and people just sit in camp right next to it. Like, look at this lady. Look at this lady. Look at her. She's just chilling, having herself a good time. The use of elevated walkways really gives us such a nice feel, much more realistic. Agreed, and thank you. Fully agreed. Because this is really very rugged terrain, right? But the determination, I think the only thing that I should have put more of is maybe a few more pillars to hold up the path. I think maybe one or two more here would have added nicely to it. And then here as well, where it was extremely steep, got the terrain to curve as best as possible around all of this mountain, right up to this final spot. People don't actually come here directly. They have to come from that side. But I remember thinking I had wanted to make a path all the way down here as well, but then I never got round to it because everything basically, I ended the series before I could put some of these things into play. Hello, Black Fox CS. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? How you doing? Hope you are well. So yeah, this was the trail. Definitely one of my favorite builds, like without a doubt. I love builds like this where it's just mountainous forests, just paths going through and doing bush and trees and just looking out at the green of Littletown. I think it was just fantastic. And even though I don't think anybody ever goes to this shop, 9 overeducated, 1 jobs available. Well, people still work here clearly, but I doubt very much anybody goes here. Nowadays, I don't know if you've seen it, there are floating parks that you can actually get. So I could actually have put like floating parks in this area, which would allow people to actually come here and make it look even more realistic. But yeah, those days are gone. Trails like these are my favorite, just in general. Sure, I totally can. Ooh, what's that? I can totally resonate with that, I suppose. This is how I got electricity to all these places, by the way. I hid a whole lot of these electricity towers in between like bush and trees so that you don't actually see them, and I carry power all the way down, and that's how I got power to this hotel all the way along. Boop, boop, boop. Because you know, when the thing is like in the middle of nowhere like that, you have to find a way to get electricity to these places. And people will often ask me, how am I building all of these things and they are operating without electricity? Well, there you go. Hidden in the forests all the way. This hotel, by the way, is probably my most hated build of all of Littletown. I actually genuinely did not like how this build turned out. But then surprisingly, people seem to like it, and I didn't understand why. I thought this was such a hard build for me. I think the video was going out on Friday, and on the Tuesday, I was still sitting like, what am I going to do with this space? Right? Like, it was just such a hard build for me, and it didn't help much that I couldn't really get people to come here and just make it a bit more active, because all of this are actually residential areas and they're supposedly full, but you can see they only have 8 households, which is kind of crappy. And back then I didn't have that mod. There's that mod that allows you to change the number of households per building. I didn't have that, so I couldn't go ahead and make this, let's say 100 households or whatever, just to increase the number of people that come into this area. Because if I could do that, then these areas would become a whole lot more packed. So I got all these people park generators and all this stuff in the back here, but nobody really bothered to come. Built all this stuff and nobody really bothered to come, and I think that's probably kind of why I didn't really enjoy this build too much. And just to make sure that nothing here burnt down, I've got a fire station that's just like hidden here in the forest. So all of this is connected, which by the way happened, that one of these buildings actually burns down. I'm like, really? How? So I ended up having to put a fire truck or a fire station hidden in this forest, and then all of this is connected up. So there's a road that connects everything. But I've basically banned all vehicles so that nobody here decides to just jump into a car for any random reason and just drive around. It's okay, we'll assume it's off season in Littletown country. No, that's a positive look on it. Ooh, water is dripping on me. Sorry about that. Okay, so Yeah. And most of these places didn't really have names. So at the time, I wasn't really doing stories like we're doing now with Normasburg. So there's no like what district stuff that I've put down to create like names and stuff like that. And even with this, to try and get people to come in, you can see it's like it's barely anybody coming. By the way, I should have actually left this thing paused. Oh my word, I think I've messed up a lot. Because when I unpause it, a lot of these buildings, a lot of these houses were not marked as historical when I put them down, because I think that DLC only came with the campus, or the whole historical buildings thing. I think it only came with campus DLC. I might be mistaken. It came later. But all the buildings that I put down before then basically start upgrading, and then the buildings start changing, which is kind of a bummer. So then things start looking very different very quickly. Have you got the CSL map mod installed right now? I don't think so, but let's check. Oh, I do. No, I don't. Oh, I do. I'm guessing you want to see a CSL map view of it, Masni Sunshine. Let's see. I can get it. I can probably try and get. So let's do. Let's try and do this. Okay, I shall post it on Discord just now. Just give me 1 second, because these can be quite big. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let me just. Where are these saved? City Skylines. Ah, is this where you are? Cool, we got Littletown. All right, let me drop that onto thingy, Discord. I need to find my way around my own PC. Hey, let's see. It's quite a big image actually, with a lot of wasted space. So let me just crop it, because it actually does the entire 25 tiles, whether there is stuff there or not. So I'm going to crop this, save, and I hope that it is small enough to fit onto Discord. I'm going to post it on the Show Off Your Work channel. So for those that are on there, Show Off Your Work. Will it fit? Will it go? Let me put the CSL map view of Littletown. As requested by @Masni Sunshine and Frankimon. So you are both pinged. Cool. Posted for your viewing pleasure. And then, by the way, this is the single biggest build I've ever done. So in one episode of Littletown, I can't remember which one it was, but I basically built all of this, like all of this area, all the way up to, in fact, even including this side, actually all the way up to here, it's actually bigger than I thought. So I had built all of this, all of that in a single episode. It was humongous, but it's because it was mainly residential areas that we're building. I could like speed through it, just place a house, move on, place a house, move on, place a house, move on. So at least I was able to cover a lot of ground very quickly, which was quite cool. but it was a huge building. Getting all of this done in time was, yeah, it was a challenge. What is this? This is the thing I never understood. I mean, it still happens in a lot. Look at this chapter. It's almost like he's driving off into who knows where. Hey, 5 Lies, thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. I'm trying to unpause this thing and they're going nowhere. What is happening? They're just chilling. Oh, they claim to be at home. Oh, you know what? I think there might have been buildings here. I think there might have been buildings here and they've probably disappeared. That's probably why. But that just looks so awkward. Imagine that. A still frame tells him 1,000 words. But yeah, I think there were houses here and those assets have probably disappeared off the workshop. That would be my guess. Even here. There was a train station here and the train station is gone. But you know, I'm pretty sure that the train station that was here is this one. Where is it? It's this one. I'm pretty sure this was the one. See, it's actually almost a fit. Or am I mistaken? Oh, I don't have anarchy. That's a pity. That's why all my that's probably why my trains are busted. But I guess there's no trains running. So some of the assets really have just disappeared completely. And because of that, these sort of train lines are not running anymore, which was quite sad. Because I was wondering why there were no trains actually running. Anyway, this build, by the way, this so-called bus station. So I built this bus station, but I didn't set up bus routes. But I just built it together with this walkway. Ended up being, well, at the time of now, is my best performing video on the channel. Like, it's been watched so many times. But I think people probably just like this walkway. But I remember somebody say, why would you want to walk all the way around? Which made sense, but the build looked cool, so I built it, right? Like I said, when I build something, it's really about the aesthetics over anything else. Are there trees in the middle of this building? I think there are trees in the middle of this building. Yeah, there are trees here. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's not like that's gonna make a difference to anything. And then we had all these apartment sprawls. So this area was inspired by my own sort of living space. So here in South Africa, we've got a lot of these sort of gated apartment communities. And that really served as the basis for this. Just let me know if you experience any problems with the streams, eh? Because I see from time to time this thing is dropping packets. It's not complaining to me, but I'm still seeing some dropped frames here and there. I mean, it's like 0.7%, but I upped the bit rate of the stream from 5,000 kilobits to 6,000 kilobits in hope that at least there'll be it'll be a little bit clearer, especially when I'm moving around, because I know when I'm moving around it can tend to get a little grainy. So I just up the bit rate a little bit in hope that it will help. Twitch only allows me a maximum of 6,000 kilobits, which it's so tiny. Like, by comparison, 6,000 kilobits is what I'm streaming at, but when I record my videos at 50 megabits, which is 50,000 kilobits, right? Almost 10 times the amount of quality as this stream is. So if it appears a little grainy, I'm sorry, it's unfortunately out of my hands. I can't really do too much about it. Yeah, it's a little shaky. I thought it was on my end. Oh, that's a bummer. Well, in order to actually maintain a more stable output, I can decrease the bit rate back down to 5,000, because then you'll not have any problems. But unfortunately, I cannot do it midstream. Now Twitch does not kill my stream off immediately if I end it. So well, I'm gonna leave this up to you. Let me know, what do you all think? Should I can end the stream for like 5-10 seconds, change it down to 5,000 kilobits, and then start the stream again, so it should just hopefully be almost seamless? Or should I leave it the way it is? Let me know what you think. I would actually like to get your opinions on that, because decreasing it to 5,000 kilobits, though it will be a tad bit grainier, the stream should be more consistent with less buffering. Opinions. It's fine the way it is. Citrus says it's fine the way it is. It's fine, says Masni Sunshine. Okay. Alright, so it looks like people are going to be happy with the way it is, so we leave it the way it is. Five Lies says it's fine. Thank you, Five Lies. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll leave it the way it is and we shall continue. Alright, so we obviously have massive apartment blocks all on this area, and then we enter the general airport space. You know what? I think decals are not rendering, because I had massive decals in some of these spots. Anyway, let me unpause the game. Now, the unfortunate thing about this airport is I could never get enough traffic here. Can we see the suburbs? We will get to the suburbs, Citrus. Or shall we jump? Actually, we can do that. I can jump to where people want to see, instead of me just going haphazardly from place to place. We can jump from... I'll base it on what people would like, and then we'll just go and see all of those. And I think that will make more sense, because then at least it's based on what people want to see instead of what I want to show. So these are some of the suburbs closer to the airports. By the way, I got this tiny little suburb all the way in the corner here, as well, just sitting off of the airport. You can imagine how noisy it's going to be. There was a school here, that's gone. There were additional houses here, those are also gone, so that's a bummer. But I had a suburb just sitting just behind here. I got these funky colored houses, which I thought were a nice addition. I love watching on a big TV. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you've got a nice big TV to enjoy it on. Oh, that's on fire. Anyway, more suburbs in this area. So this is meant to be the slightly more affluent areas. As you can see, their houses are much more spacious, bigger lots, and we've got mansions this side. So this was like really big mansions that I was trying to build. So I clipped a whole lot of buildings together. This is, I think, a clip of mostly office buildings to try and get these in place. We've got one here that is under construction, and we've got just have all these massive mansions just sitting all over the place. We've got some suburbs just to the side over here as well. So at this point, because these are all the outskirts of the town, most of these places have like nice big yards, quite spacious, and so on. We then got the spots as we move towards the city center. At least these trains are still running, so that's nice. I'm keeping it paused, by the way, because I just don't want the places I don't want the buildings to upgrade, to level up. natural reaction to a house fire. Just another day in City Skylines. Oh, for sure. You trust your fire department, right? That's the whole point. Oh, and I built this tunnel. I loved this tunnel, by the way. I thought this tunnel turned out so cool. One of my favorite builds, actually. It's a small little thing which not too many people notice, but I just love the way it all came together. Anyway, we got more houses here. Oh, wait. Something is up. Because I'm pretty sure this water level was higher. But anyway. And then you got these super cool houses that sit like right on the beach. Imagine that you walk out and there's the beach right there. It would have been cool if I had put them on this side so that their backyards led onto the beach, into the sea. But well, alas. And then this is meant to be some kind of a small hotel, followed by the massive suburbs on the outside of the city. So this was like the main suburban areas sitting on the outskirts. So they kind of bordered the entire downtown all around on this side. This had a lot of like, what do you call these? These are a sort of apartment-esque type of build almost. On this side, and then you've got, yeah, it's like really just houses. These are the American Eclectic houses, by the way, if you're wondering which assets I used. These are American Eclectic is what they're called. And then there's a chap, what's their name again? I've forgotten the name. There's somebody on Steam that took these assets and then created like yards. So they put fences around it, they put like manicured grass, bushes and all that stuff. So when I got my hands on those, it allowed me to build this sort of stuff. That's how I got all of these incredibly detailed suburbs where the actual asset comes with all this pre-detailing. And as soon as I discovered this, I fell in love with pre-detailed assets because it really allowed me to build these massive expansions very quickly. So you have this suburb that just looks so much better. Imagine trying to build this individually, right? I was going to completely annihilate my problem and I was never going to get anywhere. But this allowed me to build this very nicely. And this suburb basically was kind of the blend into the farmlands. And I really love the way this turned out. I think the blend from the suburban space here into the farmlands, I think turned out super awesome. Casino and clubs, think that was a build you did in Littletown. Indeed, I did. So, citrus, those are the suburbs. There are some more on this side as well. So they just cover the suburbs quickly. And a couple up here, sort of on this hill / whatever you wanna call it. We had a couple of the rundown areas just in the corners here. And some more affluent suburbs. Right, with their massive gardens and beautiful trees and flowers and all of that stuff all sitting on the side. So yeah, those are the suburbs. And to answer Frankimon, we got casinos and stuff on this side. So the casinos was also quite a super cool build. This is so well lit up at night. Let me know if you want to see a night shot. I'd really love the way the night shots turn out on this space. So we have all the night stuff. Oh, there's a couple of casinos missing here. I remember these ones. So this was Alpha. This is the Club Alpha. There was Club Celsius. And then there was another one which I forgot. But these were also two smaller clubs. Can I just see something? I'm sure the club, yeah. I think they have been removed. Which is so sad. Why would you remove such beautiful assets? No, here they are. See, these were here. Oh, you see this? I think it looks like zoning has disappeared on some of these roads. That's probably why the assets disappeared as well. Because I also don't have anarchy, they just completely vanished. That's probably what happened. But there were two clubs. It was Club Anastasia. What is it? Yes, Club Anastasia and Club Celsius, which is somewhere else. But shame. Sorry, Frankimon, but a couple of them have disappeared. Gunubi, I used to surf there all the time back in EL. Oh, sweet. I actually visited Gunubi Beach no, I lied. It wasn't Gunubi Beach. It was Gunubi Beach. I visited Gunubi Beach this past December, actually, when I was down that side of the world. It's not a SG city without Florida. Without Florida, man. A Batmobile, burning buildings. Yeah, unfortunately, there is no Batmobile though in this city. There's Club Anastasia. This was like the first time that I started really combining buildings to try and get slightly bigger and what I think are nicer looking structures. And then you have all these hotels that just line this avenue. And that build that I was quite happy with. But yeah, this is where the nightlife basically is. Let's just take a look at that at night, because I think the night shots, it was so lit up. It was quite lovely. I love the way this lit up. Oh man, without this, these also have these neon lights on them, which I think are just fantastic. The place was so well lit up. It was so beautiful. Totally loved it. What's the most congested area in the city? Most traffic? I think that would have been here. This was where the most congestion existed, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just run this. So, because of the way I had built this, I had one highway coming all the way into the city, and all of it met up here on this massive avenue. So this area will often build up traffic like all the way back to like somewhere around there. So I think this was the most congested area, and I knew it was going to be congested when I built it. And not that I didn't care, but I liked the idea of a little bit of traffic in a certain spot of the city, and I knew I was going to do something about it as well. So in time, when I built this as an alternate entry path into the city, that relieved the traffic on this road, and then I also gave this alternate exit point to this area, which further eliminated traffic off of this road. And then as soon as I put in the public transport network, so the train going out to all the other areas, the buses that do the long range connection between the suburbs, it pretty much eliminated all of the traffic around here. So even though I had the traffic initially, I had the plans already that I was going to divert traffic off of this road, and that, as you can see, helped quite nicely. I think the one you are looking was a strip club and got removed. Did I have a strip club? I think you might be right, actually. I think you might be right. I think you might be right, which explains why I had this poster here. I think I had a poster with just like women on it. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there was a strip club here. You're right, Citrus. Yeah, good spots. Okay, so yeah, PG stream. Yeah, it's a PG stream. You can't show that for too long now. Otherwise, next you know, they say, oops, sorry, we have to censor your stream. Okay, so Masni Sunshine, I hope that answers your question. As of now, there's really not too much traffic, because if you look at this, as soon as I set up the, what's this thing, the public transports, you can see that a lot of my traffic, of my foot traffic, of people arriving, started coming down, coming to the bus stations and jumping onto buses to go to where they needed to go. There was also a lot of switchovers that were happening here. That's like a lot of people. All these people, by the way, are mostly tourists. So the city drew a lot of tourism. And I don't know why. I don't know what I put down that caused so many tourists to want to come to the city, but it had a lot of tourism. And there wasn't too much I can do about this, because the amount of trains that come in and out of the city is really controlled by the game. But for all the others, I could put more trains as needed to try and reduce it. All these people, I think, are kind of stuck here because this is the route that would go to the airport. And with the train stations missing, I think. That's what I think. But I might be wrong. Club Celsius temperature, heat. You know the rest. Nice connection. Alright, so where are we going to next? Somebody pick a call. I just love the way this looks at night. I really love the way this looks at night. By the way, this is one of my favorite shots, like, in all the cities I've ever built. I think probably because it's also a complete city, so it just all comes together so nicely when you see that aerial view. Littletown isn't a bad place to be stuck in. Thank you, Hibrika. I agree with that. Citrus says he wants to go to the racetrack, so let's go to the racetrack. But we want to see the racetrack during the day, don't we? I like to operate most of my things at around 4 p.m. This is kind of the time of day I set my stuff to, because the light is just about dampened down and the sun generally would have moved to a portion of the screen, and that will allow some shadows to form. And I think when the shadows form, it actually adds so much more to it. So somebody was asking me the other day, how did I get the cars to basically do full laps? How did I get some of them to do pit stops and so on? So this was a combination of two things. Well, not two things, it's one thing. All of this is essentially a bus route that has been set up. So if I go into, for those who don't know, if I go into the vehicles menu, you see that there's a route. There's a bunch of routes that have been set up. Actually, that's a bad one. Let's do, no, it's not bad. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of routes that have been set up, right? And did I name them? I can't remember if I named them or not. There's so many transport routes on here. I don't think I named them. I think these are probably like random things. But anyway, I set up a whole bunch of bus routes. And for some of them, I set up one that goes all the way around the track. So let me just zoom out a little bit. So I set up one that goes all the way around the track, but then it has one stop that's there in the pit lanes. I actually set up two, sorry. One that is a pit stop closer to the beginning and one towards the end. And then for those that don't go into the pit lanes, that bypass, they've actually got stops here to complete the track, and then another line that's got a stop up there to complete the track. So the ones that stop here, they basically stopping kind of off camera. So when you look at the actual pit lane area, you just see them driving through, so it's like they're not stopping. Whereas the ones that stop here, they're the ones that continuously do the full circle. So that's how I got that working. So with that set up, you can see it. You can see how it all comes together. I actually have another stop there. Let me just do this. I actually have another stop there. So these are my stops. One here, one there. There's one more there as well. And then the ones that go into the pit lanes, they come through that side. And then the blue ones and the red ones basically are almost doing full laps all the time. And that's how you got the racetrack running quite nicely. And it was pretty cool. Now, if I had advanced vehicles, so with, what's this thing? Oh, I don't have traffic manager here. But another way we could improve this, and something that I want to do with my next racetrack actually, is you can actually set up an invisible road that runs on top of the racetrack, which has better sort of driving racing lines, so you don't have the cars always just driving right in the middle all the time. But you can set it up in such a way that it actually hugs the bend, you know, as best as possible all the way through, and then the cars can follow a much better, more realistic path. And then you can change the speeds of the vehicles. You can change the maximum speed of each of the vehicles. You can change the maximum speed on the roads to try and get them to basically careen even faster. So that's something that I want to try in the next attempt to build, you know, one of these racetracks, to see if I can just get it to look a little bit more, get the driving lanes or the driving lines looking more realistic. The Monaco Grand Prix has a tunnel. This could be an idea to hide the stops. Yes, so originally Masni Sunshine, I had actually wanted to put a tunnel. So where was it? I think it was here. So if you see here, I had designed this area in such a way that it went underground. So my original plan was to put a tunnel here, but I can't remember why I didn't do it. It's either I was pressed for time, or I couldn't find the right assets to do it to look nice, and that's why I didn't do it that way. I think it was one of the two. I can't remember exactly which one, but originally this was meant to be a tunnel to hide all of it. But yeah, face cam is lagging. My face cam is lagging. I would think it's the entire stream that's lagging. My face cam should not be lagging. Hello, am I lagging? I hope not. I don't know why it would be lagging though. But I think any lag that we experience is probably due to this little change to increase it to 6,000 bitrate. And I really don't understand why a 6 megabit bitrate is causing the lag. With Twitch, by the way, if you try and pump out higher than 6,000 kilobits, it actually stops you. It doesn't accept those packets that are too big. So it looks weird on Twitch side. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm seeing that from time to time, this silly PC of mine is pushing out 6,200 kilobits, 6,100 kilobits. And I don't understand why it does that. It's a bummer. So from time to time, some frames would be lost. I do apologize for that. For the next stream, I'll set it back down to 5,000 kilobits. I'll set it to 5,500 so that we get the maximum out of it, and hopefully there's no lags. Okay, Big Bad Wolf. Sorry. Could have dropped the ground level and used ploppable concrete with some grandstands on it so spectators can see up close as the cars dip down into the tunnel. Yeah, that is true. Could have done that. Really don't know why what changed my mind, because really this really was meant to be a tunnel. I can't remember what changed my mind, why I didn't do it. Because I had planned to have like viewing areas and everything on this side. I had a sort of grandstand here, but again, because you can't get any ways to like populate to get people to actually sit here, it was just But anyway, in the end, this video, by the way, just exploded. And I didn't understand why it exploded so much, because I was not happy with this racetrack. I really was not. I was convinced. I remember at the time telling my wife that this was going to be such a bomb of a video, only for it to just skyrocket. So, yeah, I don't know. See, here's what I was talking about, by the way. See, because the simulation is running, some of these houses have been upgrading. Especially, I don't understand why that they're not marked as historical. Anyways, whatever. It is what it is. I miss. Okay, not lagging for me. Okay, citrus. Okay, never mind. My Twitch is acting up. Sorry. It's on your side. Oh, sorry, Big Bad Wolf still. Alrighty, cool. So, that's the racetrack. And I called it Calamity Racetrack. I called it Calamity Racetrack because there's a racetrack right here in Johannesburg called Calamity Racetrack. In fact, a lot of the things that I named in Littletown, I named after places in Johannesburg, if I'm not mistaken. So I call this Ishcom solar power plant. So Ishcom is the what's the word that I can use? It's like ish is like an exclamation here in South Africa, like ish, when something is like not cool. So our power utility, our power suppliers are called Eskom, and they're like a complete disaster. So we just say like Ishcom Solar. It was a play on it. Anyway, so I've got Soweto. Soweto is a suburb here. Saxon World Country Estate. Saxon World is also a suburb. All of these. Sandhurst is a place near Johannesburg. What's this thing? Sandton area. We've got Glen Austin. It's an area in the Midrand area. And then some places were named after people. So Nikki SP. This was named after, well, like one of my very first viewers. Nikki SP started commenting from the very first episode, if I'm not mistaken. Like they were totally fixated with my stuff at a time when I think I had like maybe 11 subscribers, of which 10 of those were family and friends, and Nikki was like the only other person, and I named that after them just to say, yay, thank you Nikki for all the support. But anyways, the William Resort and Spa, that's named after my brother, by the way. And then we've got Centurion, we've got Midrand, we've got Park Station. Park Station is like a huge bus station here in Johannesburg. We've got Amarentia. So I just named a whole bunch of things after South African places. Any industry besides farmland? No, Masni Sunshine. So this was one of the things that I had said right from the beginning, that Littletown was not going to have any factories, no industry, none of those massive sort of thing. It was not the type of city that I was going for. So if you've noticed with a lot of my builds, I have a theme, or I have a sort of visual that I want to achieve. So Littletown did not have anything industrial. It didn't have any factories. It was not meant to be a classic functional town with industry here, and it was not. It was just about aesthetics and the beauty and so on. So that was my focus. Tando is a mix of pretty much every single thing except trains. So I don't want trains in the city, a decision made purposely. Then you have Nomasburg. Nomasburg is mainly like ferries and farmlands and so I try and pick something to do with a certain build which will not include certain things, and I basically just run with that. And it's a way that I generally tend to challenge myself and try and see what I can do with my cities. So unfortunately, no industry other than farmlands. Sorry, Masni Sunshine. Nuke the city next. Why would I want to nuke the city? But you know what? We can nuke the city. I don't think I have natural disasters. I don't even know how to nuke the city, so you'll have to talk me through it. Maybe something we can do at the end of the stream. Zoo, does it compare to Nomasburg? It is a much bigger zoo. Much bigger zoo. Well, not much, but it is a bigger zoo. So, here's the zoo. So you got the entry point of the zoo here, and immediately in its vicinity you got all these. Did I say immediate vicinity? In immediate entrance in the blah. My tongue has gone into a knot. In the vicinity of the entrance, we've got all of these parks or these like plazas and stuff, so people can chill and sit and relax. Outside, we've got a bus terminal here, and this bus terminal basically connects to a whole bunch. It connects to different parts of the city. I can't remember if I had set up all the routes. Nope, I didn't set up all the routes. I only set up one route, but it basically connects. It was meant to connect to a whole bunch of different areas. I also had another one here that connected to a whole bunch of different areas. Then we had parking lots outside. And I think this one I used all of the animal enclosures that are available in the zoo park. I don't know what they are. So we got lion enclosures, rhinoceroses. We've got little plazas in between where people can sit, and it's got much bigger areas for like just random sitting and relaxing. So this, again, it's a much bigger zoo. It's not meant to be a small, tight. It doesn't have the same story as the one in Nommersburg. It's not an old, dilapidated one. This is a well-maintained one because Littletown obviously is a tourist town. So people are like frequenting this place. So they keep it nice and neat and nice. What's this? I'm going for a bath. See you in a bit. Enjoy, Citrus. Lord, what is a giant boat? This giant boat is chilling here. So like the thought here is this would probably be and it's not a natural lake, it's an artificial lake that was probably made for the zoo, and they put this boat here as some kind of an attraction that you could journey to and from. They've got some freshwater animals in the water that you could enjoy, so some marine animals that you could enjoy in the freshwater. I know the game only comes like this giant whale and I think stingrays and like fish and all kinds of sharks and stuff, but just imagine it being rather freshwater stuff. And the idea is it's a nice attraction that you could also enjoy here at the zoo. And then we've got all these other animal enclosures. You got well manicured lawns. You got massive places that people can sit. So this is a very, very different zoo to the Nommersburg one. And this is classic me, is trying different things, right? Because I'd already built this type of nice zoo, I didn't want to do it again in Nommersburg. So in Nommersburg, I try and build something slightly different in the rundown look. Tando will probably have a nice zoo, but I don't want to redo something like this again, and that's why I haven't built a zoo in Tando yet. I'm still trying to think of what I could do that is different, and so I'm pushing that out until I can come up with something a little bit unique, hopefully, at least a little bit unique. I think the disasters panel is to the left of the info panel, but don't send nukes yet. Where is the info panel? I don't even know which one is the info panel. Which is the info panel? Policies, economy, all of these are building stuff. I have no idea where the info panel is, by the way. What is this? It's a question mark. I have no idea. Hello, hope I get to see a good amount of Littletown. Sir Sir Lieutenante. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but yeah, I hope you will get to see a good portion of it too. We are currently still exploring. Oh, I thought it was a ferry that had lost its way. Okay, I can see why you'd have thought that. This is City Skylines after all. That water is beautiful. Oh, thank you, Hairbraker. I placed a whole bunch of stuff here to actually get this sort of like differing textures. I think I got, what's this thing? Some decals in here. There is, it's the beach sand. I think it's the beach sand that we put here to make it a little bit more worn. And then we have all these like beautiful flowers on the side. Yeah, I really just wanted this zoo to look nice, and I think it did. I think it turned out quite all right. I was quite happy with that. All right, so that's the zoo. This was the first shopping center I built. I remember this. I was so proud of this, only for the video to get 10 views. I was like, oh well, just keep going. Just keep going. All right, what would people like to see next? So whilst we wait for that, we can get a nice aerial shot of Littletown. What would people like us to journey to next? Oh, these islands, I wasn't entirely convinced I was going to be able to fill them up. Besides the waterfall nature trail, what was your other favorite builds? What was my other favorite builds? I enjoyed a lot of these builds. What would I say was my favorite area? That's a very interesting question. I don't know if I have a favorite area because it keeps changing. But undoubtedly, one of my favorite areas though was this. I really loved the way this turned out. Right? I think this just turned out. It really just looked like a resort, in my opinion. The way it all came together, I was very happy with it, especially this area, the pool area, with all of these rock assets and so on. And all of this, I think King Leno had just released these assets. So this stuff here together with this pool came with a different building. But the combining them to get this, I thoroughly loved it. I think this was probably one of my most posted about thing. So because of that, I think this was my favorite area. I think. But what I did also enjoy, though it was like so much later, was this amusement park. I love the way the amusement park, like I really wanted the amusement park to be on the tip of this island. And I loved how I got it to snake its way under the highway with the train coming in and then ending off with this circus. So you can imagine, like, just picture yourself like as a little kid, right, going to the amusement park, and here you are coming down the train, coming on a train ride, and you get here and you start to see, you know, you are what is going on with my tongue? You're like in somewhere in this area, and you just look out the window and you just start seeing all of these amazing rides. As you ride past them, you may be hearing the screams of people on all of these. As you're just arriving at the station, you see all of these rides happening. In my head, I thought as a little kid, seeing that coming in would just, you know, you just get so excited and so hyped up for it. So when I pictured that scenario and I built it, I just absolutely loved the way it turned out and how everything just kind of hugs into the road and the rail line, and I was like, this is it. This is perfect. So this is also one of my favorite builds. So between it and that one and the waterfall, I think these were like one of my favorite builds. Have we seen your favorite part yet? I guess now you have, Hiprika. I guess now you have. Little town of 100,000 plus people. Betsig? I hope I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Oh, I got to go. Mazni Sunshine. Yes, I will upload this onto YouTube. but it will be uploaded to the Sanctum Gamer live channel, right? Not my standard channel, to the other one that I've just set up. So just keep that in mind. So Betsig, if you can do a pronunciation type thing, I would really appreciate it. But when I first started Littletown, my intention was not for it to be this big, and that's why I called it Littletown. I was planning on building something small, right? Like first of all, I didn't think I was ever going to fill out these islands. My plan was to have, let me show you what I was doing when I first started. Where am I? I'm here. So I started off here, and this was meant to be the extent of the industry. So the plan was to have this industry, this power station, this water treatment plant, and then I was gonna have a small little residential area here, and maybe all the way over here, and then not do anything at all here, and then come and build like a small town here, and then come all the way across and build another small town here, and then a couple of farmlands in and around the space. That was my plan. But then things got out of control. I don't know how it happened, but things got out of control, and before you know it, Littletown was Little Big Town. I myself pronounce it Bet's Egg, but I don't. But you don't know how others. Oh, you don't care how others do. Okay, but I like to try my best to pronounce it the way you like it and how you would prefer. So, Bet's Egg. I like it. That's a cool name, actually. That's a pretty cool name. I love it when people have like super cool names in chat. So, fantastic. Bet's Egg. And then we got these Japanese houses that I decided to just do something different as well, which I think is quite cool. I think this area also turned out quite nice. I love this. This, by the way, is the awesome building assets by Bisquiggle. This is one of the police vans that comes in the Vehicles of the World's pack. Super awesome. Super awesome. How long did Littletown take start to finish? Start to finish, it took 2 years. Give or take a month or two. Probably just shy of 2 years, because the first Littletown video went up in September of 2017, if I remember right. And I believe the last one went out in July of 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a little under 2 years. But keep in mind that during those 2 years, I literally played nothing else but City Skylines. I literally didn't play any other game. If I was in front of my computer, I'm playing City Skylines. If I'm not playing City Skylines, I am not at my computer. That's how bad it was. All good, depending upon how you look at it. But when that Littletown ended, I realized that I had to get a bit of a life now. So yeah, it took about 2 years to do. Yeah, it was hectic. I was trying to grow the channel as well, I suppose, to some extent. Well, it wasn't really about the growing of the channel. I was just enjoying it. I was really enjoying building in Littletown. And no games were coming out at the time that were really fascinating me either. So it was kind of easy to just keep playing Littletown. So I guess it's kind of a blessing that it ended in 2019, because in 2019, a game called Control came out, and that grabbed my attention, and it grabbed my attention big. But anyway, this area, this has all changed. This was meant to be these types of houses over here, all along here. But since I'm pausing the game, because they're not historical buildings, they've all just been upgrading and becoming this hideous stuff, which I don't like. Off topic, but what sort of planning research do you do before each episode? Is it pen and paper first, or just in-game lane roads? Curious as to how you plan your builds. Okay, we can briefly talk. Let's take an area, right? Let's take one of the islands, because I think this will be a good thing for me to actually talk through how I planned this. Bet's Egg, yeah, I'm glad somebody else is a Control fan. Super cool game. Hey, Talanan, welcome. How you doing? All right, so Frankimon, let's take this island. So this island, I planned it like I generally plan a lot of the areas. So I plan my builds in massive chunks, in chunks of 10 episodes at a time. Okay, so when I first started, again, Littletown was a complete disaster because it didn't turn out the way I had wanted. But by the time I got here, I had already started planning properly. So what I knew was this. I knew that I needed to get a road to these two islands, but I wanted it to be one continuous road. So I didn't want it to terminate on this island and then have a new one going here. So I had that in the back of my mind. So I built this and immediately knew that this was going to be an off-ramp. What type of off-ramp it was going to be, I didn't know. That's all I knew was one continuous road. Then from that point on, I knew that at the end of these islands, I wanted to have massive mansions. In between it, I wanted a suburb or two surrounding a racetrack. That was the extent of my planning for this island. So I knew there was going to be a racetrack, there were going to be mansions, and there was going to be an off-ramp. That was it. Then here, I knew immediately here that in the middle, I was going to have a golf course. And because I hadn't built an amusement park up until this point, I knew that an amusement park had to sit on this island. And this island immediately, as soon as I knew I had to put an amusement park and a golf course, became an entertainment island in my head. So the rest of the island I was going to fill with some sort of entertainment. I didn't know what that entertainment was going to be. From that point on, I go into episodic plans. So that's my high level 10 episode plan. 10 episodes are going to be used to cover these two islands. Then I came back, I come to the first island. I'm like, cool, this is a cool spot for my racetrack. So I'm going to put a racetrack here, and I'm just going to put a whole bunch of forest around the racetrack. Yeah, makes sense. But then when I get into the build, it becomes a completely different story. But anyway, so that was one episode plan, racetrack and something else around it. Then a separate episode to have mansions. At the end of that episode, I was then going to build the first real suburb and see where that leads. That's where I leave it. So then when I get into the individual episode, I come down, I'm like, cool, I know I want a racetrack here, but first I need to be able to get here. So let's build an off-ramp. It's at that point that I plan my off-ramp. So my off-ramp is planned at the episodic level. So I decide what my off-ramp is going to be. And once I decide what the off-ramp is going to be, I then decide how am I going to split this island properly. All in this one episode now. So I would get this avenue in place, which would divide this side of the island from that side, put the basic bones of my racetrack, and then start going into the details. All right, so I've got this layout. What do I put here? Oh, I need to do this. Okay, when I get here, okay, I need a grandstand. Let's put a grandstand here and so on. Oh, wait, people need to come and park somewhere. Okay, let's put some parking and so on. And then with each camera movement, as you see in all of my videos, I then plan the detail of that specific area. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. So that's kind of how I plan pretty much all of my builds. I start very high level with a 10 episode view, and then I break it down into individual episodes in the sense that what I want to do in each episode. And then with each episode, I break it up into the high level things I want to build in that episode. I set camera movement, and then with each camera movement, I then detail out, or I plan the detail of each of those. Cool. So hope that helps, Frankimon. Okay, greeted morning. How are we all on this fine morning, afternoon, evening? We are all well, Mr. Talanan. I feel sorry for the folks with the mansions on the island with the racetrack. I used to live around about 2 kilometers from Albert Park here in Melbourne, where they told, oh man, where they hold the Formula One. What is going on with my tongue? I'm blaming my tongue, by the way. Where they hold the Formula One every year, and during race time, I could hear the cars inside my apartment. Oh wow, that is hectic. I live. Okay, I suppose mine is probably about 3 kilometers from a racetrack as well. And I barely hear anything. But then again, where I live, there's like lots of trees and 2 hills, 2 fairly sizable hills. So maybe that's probably why I don't hear anything. I really feel like that half moon area, northwest section of the race island looks cool. Oh, I'm assuming you're referring to that. Is this what you're referring to, Frankimon? Thank you, my pleasure. Bet's Egg, talking of pronunciation, I'm curious, which pronunciation of Johannesburg is more common? Here in South Africa, we all call it Joburg or Josie. Joburg or Josie. Johannesburg is very long. Johannesburg is the internationally used way of calling Johannesburg. But here we call it Josie or Joburg. Citrus? No idea what that is. There we go. Talanen knew it. Yep, it's Joburg. Yeah, but with the English or Afrikaans J. English J. What's the Afrikaans J? Johannesburg. Like a Y. Nah, it's a general J. J Joburg. Alright, so this is, yeah, so this was planned. Also, again, this is one of those that I decided very late on that I was going to build. I can't even remember what I was doing here, actually. I was just finalizing the island, but I figured I just wanted something stretching out into the water that is just going to look cool. Alright, so some kind of a nice hotel that, keep in mind, by the time I got to this point, these 2 islands are meant to be expensive, right? And in all honesty, yes, I think Talanen, you're right, a racetrack wouldn't be here. But by this point, I'd used up all the space and I had wanted to build a racetrack, so I put a racetrack there. Anyway, yeah, so this is meant to be like a very expensive island, and I wanted to really build something funky. That's why I built that. It took a long time to actually get this right, by the way. 1G1286, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so this was when I built this, it constantly kept on flooding. Constantly kept on getting flooded. And I actually had to think, what's the word? Elevate and drop and elevate and drop and try and get things to a point where the flooding stopped. I think I spent a good hour or 2 on this. I remember this because it was so painful to get this to actually stop flooding. Like, you build something, I'm busy recording, and then all of a sudden I just see water coming over. I'm like, what in the world is happening? Anyway, it turned out all right. 1G, your city looks amazing. Thank you so much, 1G. Really appreciate that, and I hope I am pronouncing your name correct. If I am not, please feel free to let me know how I should pronounce it. Now do a housing estate next to an airport. A housing estate next to an airport. Well, for what it's worth, check here. We do have a kind of small little neighborhood thing tucked away here on the side of the airport. So there you go. We've got a couple of buildings missing, but let's not stress too much about that. Apartment block in a nuclear cooling tower. Oh, how ridiculous are we going to get with these suggestions? Especially if I could see the airport from my window, I think you'd get used to the noise, eh? I'm sure you'd get used to it. People live in the weirdest places, right? And they get used to it. I love this sort of like plane spotting spot. Like, this would be such a cool area to just spot planes taking off and landing. Like, I love watching planes. It's a fascination of mine that these giant metallic tubes that weigh tons and tons and tons are able to lift and actually just stay in the air. I've always had a fascination with that. So the idea of having a plane spotting area is just something that I thought was like super cool. And that's why I built my little plane spotting area. This was like for me 1G. Yep, that's right. Awesome stuff. I am glad. Like Elwood Blues living next to the Chicago Metro line. And enjoy. Office building in a car factory. Are we still going? We're still going. We are still going. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. I hear you. I hear you. We're still going. Alrighty. So, Half Moon area explored. Where would people like to see next? We've got roughly about half an hour left still in the stream. So let's explore something else. Where would people like to see us go to next? My friend has business accounts in Flight Radar 24 and Flightware and lets me use them. Lucky you. There are actually a lot of old industrial buildings here in Melbourne which are now being converted to apartments. One of my brother used to live in an old chocolate factory. Oh, hectic. How are they doing that conversion? Are they like subdividing it into, you know, apartment blocks, or are they completely demolishing and rebuilding, Talanan? I'm actually kind of curious now that you've mentioned that. What's been the Simpsons neighbor? I wish I had something else to munch on other than just water. I feel like I want something to like properly munch on. I've got the munchies. All right. No requests for a specific place to see? No strawberries. No strawberries. No strawberries in my garden, at least. You know, we're going out of season. And I finished the strawberries that I bought on Friday, and I haven't ordered any new ones, so I haven't bought any. I haven't been to the shop, so meh. No strawberries, unfortunately. With the chocolate factory, the entire old shell of the factory was kept. Then they built all the apartments inside with big open spaces and indoor gardens in the middle. Oh, that sounds super awesome. That sounds super cool. Can you show the public transport map mode for the whole city? Sure. Let's see. Let's see. We can delve in a bit more with anything. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, so FPS is obviously going to tank a little bit looking at everything, but can you shift to the side? Yes, you can shift to the side. Great. Hey, is that the natural disasters button that you're talking about? How do you move this? I don't know. We'll bomb it at the end. You can move. I actually don't know why this is here. Where am I? Oh. Okay, so let's look at public transport. So we've got, let's start with, which one would you like to actually see first? Shall we do buses? I don't have any of those. What is this? This is tram. I don't need to stress too much about that. Let's stop all of these. So those are the trains. All right, so here is, so these are the bus routes, I think. This doesn't look right. Oh, it does look right. Okay, so all my buses leave from this one bus stop very close to the train station. So passengers arrive, they'll take this walkway and then down to these buses. So I've got a bus route, or at least I had a bus route that basically runs down to the pier, to the marina, and back again. I have one that does a circle through the casino and nightclub, all these hotel spots, and back again. And then I had one that connected up also from here through the downtown, past these office complexes. So these are office complexes here that made its way deep into these suburbs. And there's a ferry stop here. That's a ferry terminal there. It cuts through all of these suburbs and then came back again. So this blue line connected mainly the downtown to the outskirts, so the suburbs on the outside. And then I had another bus line that connected from the central station all the way through the university. So this is where the university is. Connects all the way to this suburb on this side, and then all the way back again. I was meant to add a bus route that would connect this downtown to this to this bus station here by the zoo, but I never did that. So I guess that's kind of slipped my mind. But anyway, I had also, because this bus station was meant to be another exchange point to connect this area to here, and this exchange point would connect buses to the rest of the outskirts of the city, but I just never got that down. But what I did put down was the bus line that started from the zoo. So this is the zoo, and it connected up to this suburb down here. So this suburb is where we've got all the shacks and, you know, the old town, not old town, but like dilapidated areas of Littletown, and that bus connected up to there. So I think those are all the bus routes. No, wait, I had a bus route on this side. So on this side of the island, so this is where the airport is. So we've got the airport sitting here. I had a bus route that, so I've got a train station landed here. So there was a bus that started from this train station that connected up there are actually quite a few connections. Let me just set this up properly. So from this train station, this entire suburb was connected, and then I had another bus route that connected all the way to this town that sits, or this suburb that sits close to the airport. And then I had an airport bus line that sort of connected the blue and this sort of like reddish colored one all the way along, but that one came through the airport. So these three buses, those three routes, all connected at some point, either at the station or meeting up over there or meeting up over here. So they were connected in that way to allow for exchanges to happen. Where do you get cactus ice cream and what? Okay. We shall go to the slum area. Citrus. So cool seeing all these public transport lines. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hibrika. Here in Germany, you can get that pretty much anywhere, but especially in gas stations. I have never heard of that. Cactus ice cream. That sounds cool. That does sound cool. Oh, and then there's a super long bus ride. Did I say bus? Yeah, it's a bus ride that started from this station. So I've got this little station that's here as well. That started from here and that went all the way through. It's a super long one, by the way. Super long. Comes all the way through the farmlands, through the factories, through this little settlement, comes all the way across, meets up with a train station that's there, comes all the way back, and then brings it all the way back in again. It's a super long bus ride. Super long. I had wanted to do a trip through Littletown on this bus ride, but I think after recording it, it was something like a 6 or 8 hour recording, which means the bus ride itself was going to be over an hour long. And based on the stats that I've seen on the shorter bus rides, I was like, there's no way somebody's going to sit there and watch an almost 2 hour bus ride through just woods. So I didn't do it. So yeah. Anyways, so bus routes. So let's kill off all the bus routes, and then after the bus routes, we just had trains were the other ones. So unfortunately, we have 2 train stations missing here and here. Here, we got train station missing here and here. So the route has kind of disappeared, but I had a train route from the airport all the way going all the way around to the city proper, all the way to the main station here. And then I had a train route from here. So this is central downtown. This is the downtown station, going all the way out to a suburb out on this side and back again. And then Gosho Belrowi. Wow, I have mutilated your name, but I am so sorry. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate it. I'm so sorry if I mutilated your name. I do apologize. And then one more train station that started, one more train track that started from here all the way to the islands and then to the amusement park. And that was it. I don't think I had any bus routes. I don't think I had any bus routes on the actual islands, did I? No. Oh, I did. Okay, I did have some bus routes here. I think they were meant to connect up the island with, the amusement park to this island as well. So I guess there is some kind of a bus routes there. All right, so those are all the bus routes or all the public transport routes that were on the island. Bet's egg. I hope that is cool. All right, so where am I? Fun fact, cactuses are native to America. Humans brought them to Africa and Asia. Cool. I did not know that. All right, so that was the public transport. I can't remember if anybody said they wanted to see any other area, but is there any other place people would like to see? Wait, there were public transit lines on the racetrack. Yes, there was a lieutenant. So the way the racetrack is done, in order to get these these cars, they are actually buses. Right, so the game recognizes them as buses, and this is how you get them to operate on the racetrack. Is that I set up bus routes. So by setting up bus routes, you can get the cars to follow the paths around the racetrack. Set them up right, and you get some that completely go all the way around, and some that stop in the pits. So it's done via buses. Oh yes, slums. Slums. Where are the slums? Let me view. Okay, so slums are here. So this is where the slums were. You can see that this. So this was mixing up a whole lot of these slum assets, putting them together, elevating them, dropping them, just to try and get these looking. It feels like things are missing. I feel like I had a whole lot of stuff sitting on top, which are no longer here. But anyway, yeah, this dirt road is pretty cool. But this dirt road is a standard road, by the way. Well, not a standard road. It doesn't come like in the vanilla game, but there it is. So somebody. Oh, Sinu. It came from the Sinu project by, what's his name? Strict Toaster. I think he created this. Yeah, by Strict Toaster. So in his CNU project, he had areas where he wanted a lot of these dirt road assets, and to keep on putting decals on all of the roads that you create, you very quickly run out of props. So he created this road, which I thought is amazing, and it makes it look so much cooler, so much cooler. But yeah, they were not very big and they were not very compact. So this is something that I want to create another area in Normersburg, which is like really slummy. So I want to like compactify it a bit more. Something similar to what I was doing in the River Valley series. I think like the slums in that area was looking much better. So I want to try and get something a lot more compact going to just make it look super duper cool. All right, Hebrika, thank you so much for joining. Have yourself an awesome evening. Ooh. River Valley slums were awesome. I quite liked them as well. Thoroughly agree with you on that one, Talanan. I feel like these assets look different. I don't know if it's just in my head, but the colors seem a bit off. But anyway, had areas here. I wanted to put even more boats here, but I figured I'll come back to it once the actual build was done and I still had props left, just to make it look a lot busier than it actually is. So put like fishing boats and stuff like that. But yeah, so this is where they were kind of stuck here. But then there was also another area closer to the town, by the way. I had this one here by the highway. Where is it? So there's a smaller one here closer to the town. Oh, look at that. These have upgraded. Because the simulation is running, I think these ones upgraded to actual houses. But these are also slums sitting under the highway. And this is like reminiscent of places here in Johannesburg, where you'll find, like if you go to Joburg CBD, there are certain areas where people have just decided to shack up stuff. I mean, the government comes and cleans them out from time to time, but people always keep redoing it, and then the government comes and cleans it and people do it again, and it's a never-ending battle. But yeah, I also have this area that was just here in the corner as well. It's also a nice little slummy spot. Flashbacks to the murder house, Citrus's house of murders. This is the other one. Norma Farms? Frankimon? What do you mean by Norma Farms? Someone liked living in the slums. I think that's called gentrification, eh? I thought gentrification was what's this thing? Yeah, clearing spaces out to build like apartments. I thought that's what gentrification was. I could be wrong, I don't know. Isn't there a farm region called that? Asks Frankie Mon. There is a farm region here, but I don't think it was called Norma Farms. I don't think I named any farm area, or did I? I could be wrong. No. Oh yes, Norma Farmland. This is an entire district. So this is an industry. Norma, by the way, is my wife's name. Well, it's her pet name that her friends call her. That's like full up. So I just named this after her because I know she loves like green spaces and stuff. So she absolutely loves Normersburg. As you can imagine, Normersburg is named after her. So she absolutely loves Normersburg. But yeah, yes, Norma Farms. This is when the Industries DLC came out. It had just come out when I started building this area. So it hadn't just come out. It had come out for a while. But this was my first use of Industry. So that was quite cool. I quite liked that. Yeah. Northcliffe. Oh, by the way, these were I loved this build. I thought was such a beautiful neighborhood with the big mansions just up on the mountains here. I thought this was also fantastic. Just sitting on top, just staring down at the green valley. 46 purple cars on scene. Oh, for sure. The battle won't stop until the government stops destroying the slums and builds actual livable houses. That is very true. That is very true. It will not stop. So that's normal farmland. Massive. I think this. Okay, no, I had two farm industries here and here. So I plan on having like massive farm industry in Normersburg soon. Like very soon, I want to get into building this industry and start hopefully generating a large amount of income. So yeah, this was the farmlands. Farmlands all the way through. Oh, and this is my house. Far away from everything, with a lake, just chilling here with a big faraway pool, the big tennis court. So cool. This is also another build that I quite liked. I love the way it was just like hidden away in the mountains there. But then right next to it is this large factory. So in my head, when I was building this, the owner of this factory lived there, right? So this person owned all of this, or at least, yeah, owned all of it. So yeah, that is it, everybody. This is Littletown. That is Littletown. It took me jumping through a lot of hoops to actually get this to run again. I love the night view. Can I go into night view mode so that I can just enjoy the night view? I love the night view of Littletown so much. Let's go down. Let's go back down. Oh, there we go. Let's get some night shots. I love this view so much. Like, this to me makes building all of this stuff worth it. Just to take a step back and appreciate the night view. I did a video once called, what was it? A Night in Littletown or something like that. One of my favorite videos of Littletown. So yeah, everybody, this was our tour of Littletown. Unless there's a specific area that anybody else would like to see, we will be calling it a night. Thank you so much, Sir Lieutenant. I'm super glad. Thank you, Frankie Mon. Super glad you all joined me. I really appreciate that. Oh, you should have put lights on the center of the race track like airport tracks. Oh yes, you are right. The reason I didn't do it is because by the time I got to by the time I got to these two islands, there were still 10 episodes left of Littletown. But I had already hit the prop limit, I had already reached the node limit, and I had already hit the segment limit. I had basically hit all of the limits. So each episode, before I started building, I would have to go and delete something from somewhere else in the town and redo certain areas and then go back and build. So because of that, I was quite conscious of like networks and nodes and props, and that's why I didn't put lights on there. A lot of it I had killed on the airport. I mean, the airport, it's got networks galore. You can see all of these lights. All these lights at first were props, and then somebody released an airport networks pack, which allowed me to convert all of the props into actual networks, which was fantastic because it freed up a whole lot of my props, but then it completely annihilated my segments. So it was a fine balancing act in getting these two islands done because I had really hit the limits already. So yeah, that was an experience. Yeah, it was my pleasure doing the showcase, and I am completely grateful and super glad that you all chose to join me today to actually enjoying and actually going through all of this. I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for your time. And yeah, I guess this kind of proves to people that you can still run Littletown, right? Even though there might be a couple of things missing, you can still run Littletown. Big thanks to Ron, the Replace Our Networks mod, as well as what was the other mod that I combined it with? Replace Our Network mod, our networks. I got a whole bunch of network extension replacement roads as well. I needed that because this city was heavily network extensions dependent, so I got a whole bunch of roads that were an alternative so that Ron could replace those roads with them, and then the zoning adjuster to basically sort out any issues that we had with zoning that may pop up. So those 3 mods were like a lifesaver in actually getting the city to actually run again. So yeah, big shout outs to the creators of those mods. I think without those mods, this was not going to be possible. Let me take a screenshot. I'll probably use this as a thumbnail on YouTube. I think it's pretty cool. All right, everybody, that is it. That is Littletown. I still think it looks pretty cool. Still my best build. It's still the only city I have ever completed, by the way. So yeah, I'm still very proud of it. Unless there's anything else from anybody, we'll be calling it a night or a morning or an afternoon, wherever you are. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything else come through in terms of requests. So I am going to say my good nights, my goodbyes, and say a massive thank you all so much again for joining me. And I hope you have an awesome morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Thanks, Talanan. And I shall catch you all in the next stream. Cheers, everybody. Wrong image. Boom. That's a wrong image, everybody, but I hope you will all enjoy it. Whilst I rush quickly to actually put the right image in, you can be listening to my voice, I suppose. I think I want to just put an image slideshow so that it's at least the screenshots that you see. There you go. There we go. Now everything is proper. This is what happens when you don't prepare properly. Cheers, everybody.